Navy or in the Army, make sure that whatever country you go to, whether it's Afghanistan or it's Iraq, learn the culture, learn the language as best you possibly can. It might just save your life. Like I said, understand the cultures of the people, because when people believe that you have taken a serious step in trying to learn about them, they will take a step, or they might even take a couple steps towards you, because they see that you're actually trying. I've been to a couple of Japanese restaurants, and I'll try to say a couple of words in Japanese, and they just smile and say, yeah, you got it all wrong, but at least you tried. Give me some extra sushi. But through and through my experience in the military, I've been in the Army for 19 years, and there's nothing that I would take away from that experience. I've been a Muslim for 10. There's nothing I wouldn't take from that experience. I've had both good experiences and bad experiences. Bad experience as far as being a Muslim. I had taken a Shahada in '99, like I said before, and I had also been a young man who, as a course of, it's a Southern thing to go through a Masonic lodge, and I had a Masonic emblem on my car, and I had come to the masjid, prayed, parked it in the parking lot, gone in, prayed, and basically fellowship with the brothers, and sat down for a little while just to collect my thoughts, because it had been a hard time, because my parents and my then girlfriend, who is now my wife, they were giving me a really hard time about converting. And in walks this young man of Arab descent, and he asked for Daryl Cox. And, you know, I'm looking around and I'm like, man, news travels quick when an individual takes the Shahada around here. And he looked at me, and when he finally got to me, he said, are you Daryl Cox? And I was like, yes. He was like, you're not welcome here. And I was like, what? He was like, yes, you're not welcome here. And I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, this is the house of God. How can one man come in and tell me that I'm not welcome there? Well, by this time, I had been reduced to tears, and because of everything that I had been going through. And by this time, Sheikh Nabil had come in, and he was asking what was going on. And then the imam who spoke very little English came in, and they just double teamed. And it was one of those moments where other individuals could have easily said, I'm out of here, I'm done with this. This is not what I signed on for. But there was something that kept me there. There was something that said, this is just one individual. Don't let this experience be the be-all, tell-all. So I hung around, and my relationships grew, and people showed a bitter side. That individual coughed, and he ran out of my shit. We never saw him again. His loss. You know, we all learn from a situation like this. Situation in the Army that was bad. Had a major who came out and started making bad jokes about Islam. And he made the joke about the former president and the vice president sitting at a bar and laughing and joking, and a guy walks into a bar and he's just totally mesmerizing. He wants to get to know them. And he asked, what are you guys laughing at? And former vice president says, maybe he'll get this. What if we went over and killed 1 million Muslims and a big-breasted woman? And the guy looked strange. He was like, why would you kill a big-breasted woman? And then the former vice president says, see, nobody would ever care about the Muslims. Those are the bad things that I have been encountered. But those are just isolated incidents. I have had, in my experience, people come to me and want to know more about Islam. Soldiers privates, all the way up to colonels. Tell me more about what we're going to be in for, what we need to learn. I've gone to the masjid in my uniform and sat down thinking that somebody's going to come to me and say something strange. And after the services were over, brothers would come to me and say, I want to serve in this part of the world, I served in that part of the world. And I was like, great. But it goes to show you that there are only very small instances where people are sitting on this, sitting aside of that. And other instances, everybody else is trying to look for the good. As an institution, the military is serious about protecting the soldiers. Whether they want to protect their soldiers from sexual harassment, they also want to take care of their soldiers as far as equal opportunity. You cannot be discriminated against because of your race or your ethnic or religious background. And I've heard on so many occasions our Chief of the Army speak out and speak up for those who might not be in the majority. And he's become one of my favorites. The question that's been posed so many times, and I stand right in the middle, is do Muslims hate Americans and do Americans hate Muslims? And the question, I mean, the answer is no. There are only fringe, people who sit on the fringes who say we need to go to Mecca and just bomb it out. And then there are others who are Muslims who say, let's kill all of America, kill all of the Americans. And like I said, these people sit on the fringes. They are extreme in their behavior. As I said before, patriotism in the Muslim community is as high as any other community, whether it be the Jewish community or the Christian community. To have other Muslims come up to me and say, I served. I also had a young man who served in the Special Forces, and he said, I love every minute of every day that I served in the military, but those days are done. And I'm glad to see you in uniform, and I'm glad to see that you are helping people and trying to do the best that you possibly can. In the end, the biggest thing that we need to focus on to bridge the gap between Muslims and or the Muslim world, between the Western world, is education. If we don't learn about each other, if we don't learn from past mistakes in history, we are doomed to repeat those same mistakes. I think that as a whole, all people try to do something good. And with that, I think I'm going to sit down, prepare for your questions, and I thank you.